Hello everybody, good evening. How are you? Welcome to this live video chat. I hope you had a nice day and I hope you have nice plans for the coming weekend. If it is the first time you see one of my videos, I have to say that I don't do this to show myself, to perform, to exhibit myself or something like this, because as you see, I'm very regular and nothing special to watch. So I do this to talk and to chat with you. So I invite you to ask whatever you want, to propose some discussion topic or anything you want. Please give me 1 minute because in order to be able to read what you write in time, I need to open the chat on my laptop. So just 1 second. Okay. Okay. So there we go. me share this. Okay. Now it's all shared. So welcome to newcomers. Good evening again. And as I said in the beginning, I'm here to talk. As it says in the title of the video as well. So if you have any question, you want to propose any topic to discuss about it, or anything else, you are welcome to do it. Or if you think I can help you in any way, I'll be glad to help if I can. Well, I have to apologize first because I know my English is not the best one, and sometimes I made a lot of mistakes, so my apologies for this. And probably I have, well, probably not, I'm sure that I have a strong Spanish accent, so I apologize for this as well. I think, or I hope at least, that you can understand me well. So I'm here at your disposal, so feel free to say or to ask whatever you want. And for those who are curious about if I just gear up for videos or pictures, the answer is no. I have been wearing this gear all day, and I've been on the streets with this gear, and I just came from the city because I was in the opening of an art exhibition, and I was geared like this. And before you ask me, I have to say that nobody said anything, and I didn't feel strange at any moment. So don't be shy. I don't mind if you're just a beginner, if you don't have leather gear, or if you are afraid to wear it, or anything. Feel free to talk, because we are here to this. This is the purpose of this video, and this is what I want to do. Yes, Stefan, there are some websites, not only one, that sell tracksuits similar of Adidas Chile. One is boxer of Barcelona. The second one is one called Mr. Riegilio, who comes from Holland. And I think there's also a Russian brand which is a little bit expensive called Masculo uh, with K. And there is a Polish website, I think. I don't remember the name. It's like Asox, but with a lot of A's, S, and O's and X. Uh, uh, and they sell tracksuits like this as well. None of them is cheap, but well, Adidas Chile wasn't cheap as well, the original ones. Of course, if you go to eBay, you will find a lot of fake ones, but made in China with not so much good quality. But the original ones, they don't sell it anymore. The last time I saw the Adidas was selling Adidas Chile tracksuit was last year, and they made a sort of a special edition. I got one of this, but in the since the last year, I haven't seen them selling them again. Maybe they are going to do, because it's very popular, especially between gay people, and I'm sure the marketing team of Adidas know this very well, because they have great tools to monitor all the social media, and probably they know that this is something popular and something that people wants to buy. Well, I'm sorry that you were scammed. This is very typical of eBay, you know. Usually, for me, eBay works very well for second-hand clothing, but you need to find a seller that you can trust, and well, checking the reviews of the people and how many stars it has. It's important to find a seller that you can rely. But if I have to talk about eBay, I think two things. If you find a very, very, very cheap bargain, probably is fake or very bad, or in a very bad quality, or very used, or something like this. So if somebody tries to sell a pair of leather pants for 10 euros, probably they will be a ruin. Well, growing strong. This is that there are two separate questions in what you say. One is, I'm too poor. Well, go to second-hand market. You can find, if you really spend time finding on eBay, you can find nice things on second-hand market, which are not expensive in good use. This is the first things I can tell to you. The second option is going for synthetic leather, which is nothing to be ashamed of. If you don't have money enough to buy a good pair of lower jeans or a good pair of leather jackets, instead of buying a very bad one leather, I prefer you to buy a good one synthetic. Okay? And about don't having the balls, do you think I'm a brave guy? Do you think I'm something very special? Somebody which is unafraid of anything, and it's brave and it's defiant or something when he's walking on the street. I have to say that if you think this, you're wrong. I'm just a regular guy. I'm not especially brave. I'm not especially proud. I'm not special in any way. So the only thing that happens to me is that I like leather, but you don't need to have the balls. Come on, it's clothing. It's not going naked on the street. It's not going in with a flag hanging on your belt or with a pair of handcuffs hanging on the other side of your belt. It's not disguise or something. It's just clothing that you like. And a lot of people wear leather jackets. Come on, straight guys, straight girls, gay guys. Everybody has almost everybody has a leather jacket. So start with things that can make you feel comfortable and that you think that maybe they are not going to call the attention over you. And once you feel confident wearing this, then you can start step by step going for other pieces of leather. If we are talking about leather. Okay, whoa, a lot of things you're saying. Okay, let me check. Yes, Stefan, that's good. I mean, a shiny tracksuit is a tracksuit, and it's a tracksuit which can be even fashionable. So why not wear it? And that doesn't mean anything sexual or anything related with kink or something like this. Because we have the idea, that calling the leather or shiny gear or like kinky gear. Now, kinky gear is wearing a harness and wearing a jock straps and wearing a pair of chaps. This is kinky gear. And this is nothing that you are going to see me wearing a regular day on the streets. Never. Of course not. But this kind of gear, what's the problem with this? The only problem is the fabric. The problem is that it is made in leather. If that shirt, that black shirt was not leather but of regular fabric, will be different. Seriously, remember, the walls are inside our minds, not outside. Don't blame the others, because then you'll never do the work that you have to do with yourself, with your inner soul. So the fears are inside our minds, not outside. I know I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to tell you names, but if you are on Instagram, or if you are on, well, especially on Instagram, you will see a lot of leather stars. You know, people who, which has uh, 10,000 or 20,000 followers, that they publish a lot of very nice pictures. They are very handsome. They have very expensive gear. But and I know some of them, not everyone, but I know some of them, and I know I'm not going to tell you names, of course, because I don't want to gossip about anyone in special. But you can be sure that so many of that very famous guys on Instagram, that Instagram stars that you find always in nice leather, they don't wear their leathers on the street on a regular day. Never. Why? Because they are afraid of it. Why? Because they are used to wear this, because usually it's people with rich people, people that can travel a lot. So if you can travel a lot, that means you can be almost every weekend in a different city in Europe or in the United States, and almost every weekend in a different city. There is probably a leather event or fetish event, which are like safe spaces. Spaces where everybody is wearing the same kind of gear of you, as you, sorry. And then you don't feel ashamed or ridiculous or whatever you have in your brain. It is nice to go to leather events. Yes, of course it is, and I go. And I have many friends, and I want to meet my friends. I love to meet my friends there and to chat with them and to share a drink or a cigarette with them. And it's a good chance to meet people who live very so far away from you. But they have the dark side, and the dark side is, okay, if I have money enough to go to different cities where nobody knows me, and I can express who I am freely, then the rest of the week or the rest of the time when I'm in my city, I just wear plain clothes or sports gear or whatever, and I don't wear the clothing that I like, because I don't want my neighbors to talk about me, or what my family is going to say, or maybe my colleagues at work are going to ask why I'm wearing this kind of gear or whatever. Well, all this, it has a name, and this name is fear, you know? So nobody is free from feeling fear. Stefan, thank you very much. But I think you should invest your money. I always thank any help that I can get. But in your case, I think you should save your money, and if you want, invest your money in your favorite gear if you want. So, well, I have been talking a lot, so I want to know what you think, because this is not a monologue, this is a chat. So, if not, I'm always repeating the same again and again and again, and I prefer to turn this into a conversation if it is possible. remember, if you are a newcomer, that you are welcome no matter if you are if you have a wardrobe full of leather, a closet full of leather, or if you don't have any and you are just curious, please feel free to say or to ask whatever you want, okay? Hello Giuseppe, grazie tante. Buonasera, or at this time is buonanotte. I think it's buonasera. Well, I don't speak Italian. I just know a few words. I can understand more or less. Io posso capire un po' di italiano, ma io non parlo italiano molto bene. You have a story to tell, Stefan. Okay. So feel free to tell it. I look into the screen of my laptop because my mobile phone is a little bit far away from me, so if I have to read what you write on the mobile phone, then I have to wear glasses. The first day of school this year, I wore leather pants, a leather button-up shirt, a leather jacket, boots, and a hat. Hello Hector, good evening. Of course, I have the black leather belt to go with it. Okay, that's nice. And what happened, Stefan? The principal told to me about it. And what he said? Okay, the principal asked you why. Okay, good answer. It was against the dress code. Well, I don't know if at your school they have a dress code. Maybe they have one, I don't know. In some schools, in some high schools, they have dress codes. You know it. Oh, this is bullshit. Well, actually, this is right. I have to say, Stefan, I don't know if your school has rules has a dress code, but if they have dress codes, I suppose that it has to be told to the students. It's difficult to follow a dress code if you don't know it. Okay. Yeah, probably you have a very conservative principle, and I understand that you were angry. Probably if it was my case and it wasn't your case, I was angry as well. But what I what I had what I had said, if that was my case, probably I asked the principal, okay, what about all those guys and girls with a lot of piercings or with blue dyed hair or having mohawks or coming in sports gear and sneakers all the time, even if they are not going to practice sports? Should Yeah, but the question is the rules. In some schools they have rules, but the rules has to be equal for everybody. And if something is not on the rules and it doesn't depend of the taste of the principal or not. But usually the principals of the schools are very powerful. Yeah, well, being underage, as long as as your parents let you wear whatever you want, and it is against any rules, uh, all the rest has, all the rest of people has nothing to say. That's good. Well, I'm very glad to see that your mom was supporting you, which is very nice from her. She said, how many cigarettes do you smoke a day? About one pack, usually. 20. Well, it doesn't happen in Spain, in secondary schools, at least in public schools. I think the only rule that they have is no nudity or no offensive clothing like t-shirts with offensive texts or images or something like this. But a part of this, if you want to go to the high school, to the secondary school, in leather jeans and boots and leather jacket, I don't think anybody is going to tell you anything. Probably, maybe your classmates will be a little bit shocked for the first time, but after, it's okay. I had my first pair of leather jeans when I was 16. So I was still in the secondary school, finishing the secondary school. Well done, Stefan, you and your mom. Very well done. Because nobody has the right to tell you what you have to wear, apart of offensive things. If you, of course, if you are wearing swastika or something, and if I am the principal of the school, of course I'm going to punish you for this, and I'm going to request you to remove this t-shirt and to never come again with this kind of t-shirt, and probably you will be out of the school for a week or something like this. But thank you, Stefan, for sharing this story, because I think it could be interesting for the young people who is afraid, and to see that even the family can be supportive. And it's nothing bad about wearing leather, because I said at the beginning, leather is just clothing, and it has the meaning that you want it to have, and nothing else. Other people can imagine whatever they want. I can't read minds, so I don't care what other people think about me when they see me in full leather on the street or whatever. I don't care. I don't really care. They like to gossip. Okay, everything. Many people likes to gossip, so I'm not going to pay attention for this. What I'm sure is that I'm not going to let anybody to tell me how I have to dress and what kind of clothing I have to wear, because this is me. Of course, if I have to go to make a speech in an international congress, in a conference, I'm not going to do in full leather like this. But I have been even doing political speeches during the last elections, the last local elections, because I was one of the candidates, in full leather, and nothing happened. Because people was paying attention of what I was saying, not about what I was wearing. The problem is always self-confidence, and self-confidence comes when you feel comfortable, when you feel good wearing your clothing. It happens the same, and I'm probably I'm going to tell you an example with a different thing, with people wearing suit and tie. When somebody is very used to wear a suit and tie for work every day, you see they are comfortable with this kind of clothing. Probably it's not the kind of clothing they like more, but in many companies they have a dress code. then you have to wear a suit and tie. But you see that these people, when they go out of the office, they just do like this with a tie, they just do like this with a shirt, and they are comfortable with this. And if you go to a wedding, a typical wedding where you find guys who never wear a suit and tie except on weddings, and they have to wear a suit and tie because they wanted to be elegant or something like this, and they are all the time like this, like because they don't feel comfortable. This is the difference I wanted to explain. Well, the thing, Stefan, is that you open the way for all the people. Probably other guys or other girls wanted to wear leather or vinyl or other kind of clothing, and they were afraid to do it, and now maybe they are changing your minds looking at you, so you are doing a good job. Yeah, Hector, I know that probably in Italy is different, but in Spain was different. And it is. Uh, uh, Today when I was walking, I'm not going to tell names, but I found some, I found a couple, well I saw from far, a couple of guys that I know, and they like leather, and they go to the events in full leather, and they were wearing plain clothing. I never saw them in full leather on the streets in a regular day. Maybe they do it, I don't know. But usually the only guy that I see with this clothing here in my village or in the city in Santiago, which is 10 kilometers away from here, it's me. Nobody else. But that is not going to stop me being myself. If other people is afraid, if other people is ashamed or something like this, well, it's their problem, not mine. But I find curious watching pictures of people wearing their full leather outfits and the leather flag in the leather pride. In some cities, some European cities, they celebrate the leather pride. Like usually big cities like London or Amsterdam or Antwerp or Berlin or well, some cities they celebrate the leather pride, and you see everybody in the street very proud with the leather flag wearing their full leather outfit. And I think, what you are going to do when you go back home to your town? Are you going to dress like this to go to the supermarket? And in the 90% of the cases they are going to say, oh no, of course not. And this is what I find funny, because at the end this is not real. So as long as you are real, as you are true with yourself, as you are honest with yourself, and you are honest with your friends and with the people that you know, nothing happens. Nothing is going to happen. In fact, I'm sure that if I'm in full leather with my friends, 99% of my friends are straight people, and they are not dressing in leather. If I'm dressed in my full leather gear with my friends somewhere, having coffee or dinner or beer or whatever, and somebody tried to say anything about me and about my clothing, I think the first people to say, hey, stop, the first people to defend me are going to be my friends. I'm sure. That means that you can wear this everywhere in the world. Unfortunately, not. I will never recommend somebody to go, not even in leather jeans. The maximum I could recommend is wear a leather jacket and nothing else. If you go to certain countries, like all the Gulf countries, Qatar, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, if you go to the most part of Africa, many places in South America, or even many places in Eastern Europe. Not in all Eastern Europe, in all countries, but in some countries of Eastern Europe, I will not recommend you to wear full leather clothing on the street, because it could be dangerous. But in Europe, United States, Mexico, Argentina, Chile, Spain, all the European Union, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and many other countries, you will have absolutely no problem. And that means that you have to wear full leather all the time, every day. No, I don't do this. Sometimes I do like this, like today. Other times I wear my leather jeans with different tops. Other times I wear my leather jackets with regular jeans, or other times I don't wear any leather clothing at all. Well, except my wristbands, that I always wear them. Yeah, because it's curious that how people can, the same people that can judge you on the streets and call you faggot, they go to a concert and they see a singer wearing full leather and they become mad and they say, oh, this is so nice, this is so heavy metal, yeah. So in the USA, there is a lot of leather events, but all of them are for people over 18. Yes, you have the International Mr. Leather in Chicago. You have the Folsom Street Fair in San Francisco. There are more events in San Francisco. The Mid-Atlantic Leather, I think it's in Washington, D.C. They have events in New York, in Las Vegas, in many cities. Well, probably not close to you, but if I'm not wrong, Pennsylvania is close to the East Coast, right? So I think the closest place for you probably will be Washington DC. I don't know in the capital. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the capital city of Pennsylvania. Maybe they have something. Yeah, there is many ways of discrimination. Hector, this is right. But with discrimination, you can do two things. You can be a conformist and say, okay, that's it. That's how it is. So I have to follow the rules, or you can not accept discrimination. It happens to me in many ways. It happens to me because I'm HIV positive, and I told openly about being HIV positive. 99% of people who is HIV positive never told openly about this, and they don't want anybody to know. I do because I have nothing to be ashamed of it, because I'm human, and humans we make mistakes. So I made a mistake many years ago. So now I'm HIV positive. I'm undetectable. So being undetectable means that it's absolutely impossible that I can pass the virus to anybody. Absolutely impossible. Undetectable means untransmissible. And this is something that even in the gay community, people don't realize. It's like, okay, 10-15% of the gay community are HIV positive, and many people is afraid of me because I say openly that I'm HIV positive. But what happens with the rest of the people who never say it? So it's about how safe or unsafe you feel. If you are with a guy that don't know his status, probably is 100 times much more dangerous than being with me. But people is afraid of being with me. Harrisburg, okay. Well, I have to say, where I live, there is no leather clubs, no leather community. There are some leather guys, but they don't want to be seen in full leather on the streets here. So it's for me it's more easy to find or to meet the leather guys around me if I go to Berlin on Easter, where everybody goes and they are there, all of them in full leather. That meeting them in full leather here, it will be almost impossible. Or it will do it maybe one day when they organize a meeting and they are safe because 20 people are going to walk together on the streets in leather, but they still are afraid of walking alone in full leather on the streets. But you know, being the only leather guy in town is okay. I am the only leather guy in my town. My town is in my town where I live, because I live 10 kilometers away of the city. Uh, the population is 8,000 people, and the population of Santiago City is 100,000. So it's a small city as well. So I'm the only leather guy here in this town. I here in this town there is other guys who likes leather, but they don't dare even to buy it. To buy it. And the only people to make people, the rest of people used to see something as normal is make them uh, watch it and see it on the streets. Because even in the leather community, there is a lot of different opinions about this, and there is some people that is very proud to be a leather guy. I'm proud because I even have heard this. Being a leather guy makes me feel superior. This is fucking bullshit. For me, this is bullshit. Not bullshit, sorry, bullshit. Because I don't feel superior to anybody. And if some pieces of clothing makes you feel superior to others, then you have a problem. And your problem is here. If you need to wear in a certain way because that makes you feel more powerful, then probably you have I'm sure that you have a problem of self-esteem. I don't need to wear like this because I want to be more powerful, because I don't feel more powerful than anybody. I always say the same. I'm a regular guy who likes leather. That's all. I'm not superior. I don't want to be adored. I don't want to be worshipped. I don't want to be different. I'm just myself. Take it or let it, but this is what I am. Well, guys, we have been chatting for 1 hour, but it's almost 1:30 a.m. here. So for me, it's time to go to bed. I'm going to smoke the last cigarette before I go with you. So you have something to ask, please do it right now, because after a few minutes I have to go. So Stefan, I'm just curious, are jockstraps a king thing? And how people say they are, and I have also people say that it's basically just underwear. What do you think? Well, I don't like jockstraps for me as underwear, because for me they are not comfortable. Originally jockstraps are sports underwear, are designed for practicing certain kinds of sports. So if it is kink or not, it depends of how you look at them. As anything, you can look at me and maybe some people could think this is a kinky guy, And other people could be just curious, or other people will say, okay, he's wearing leather like any other thing. Uh, for me, if I think jockstraps are king, well, depends. If they are made in leather, maybe yes. But in my opinion, and in my experience, leather underwear is the most uncomfortable thing ever. Because there are some sensitive places that has to be treated carefully. You know what I mean. So I prefer another more regular underwear, something that comfortable. I use usually boxers, but that seamless spandex boxers, because for me it's the most comfortable underwear. No, never get leather underwear. It's like somebody sometimes ask me, are you ever tried to sleep in full leather and with boots, with gloves, with even jacket? And because I like to sleep in my full leather, and I said, you are crazy. Because it's not comfortable. This kind of clothing, sleeping with boots on, you can imagine all the nights sleeping with boots on. It's really uncomfortable. Yeah, it's more or less the same. To sleep, you wear something comfortable, something that you don't realize that you're wearing. Usually I sleep with, because I don't like pajamas, so I used to sleep with a t-shirt and underwear. But sleeping in full leather, no, of course not. Or here in Spain, like wearing full leather in the middle of summer. It's absolutely a no thing, because you will be boiled yourself inside your clothing. Maybe you can wear a pair of leather jeans and a cotton t-shirt and sneakers. Well, it depends of the heat. It is if the heat is not so heavy, yes, you can wear a cotton t-shirt and leather jeans. Maybe boots could be a little bit too much, at least in my experience. But today it was raining, it was cold, not so cold, but it was raining, so I was wearing my tall boots outside of my jeans, and nobody said anything, because okay, if girls can wear tall boots even to go to work and nobody say anything, why men we can't? suppose. Well, I just post in the description of the video my Instagram account because I'm curious to see some of you. So if you want to follow me there and send me a message and saying, hey, I'm the guy who has been talking with you on YouTube, it will be nice to know you and to know your face. I'm sorry, I don't know how 100 degrees Fahrenheit are. Here we use Celsius. But I suppose it will be extreme heat. $38. Well, here we can arrive to 38, and some days even over this. But where I was born, which is in my birthplace, which is South Spain, and I go there to spend 1 or 2 weeks every summer, it will be 42, and even in the middle of the night it will be 30 something, which is horrible. Because now I live in northwest part of Spain, in the Atlantic side, in the Atlantic corner of Spain, which is like 1,000 kilometers up north from the place where I was born. I'm sorry, Spook Dog, but I'm not here to humiliate anybody. So I think you are in the wrong channel. I'm sorry. Yeah, I suppose it was a bit cold. Well, guys, it was a pleasure to talk with you as usual. Thank you very much. I appreciate so much the time you have spent talking with me. Thank you for sharing this part of your time with me today. And thank you, and good night for me. Good afternoon, I guess, for the American people. And see you in the next video, probably tomorrow. Thank you very much, really. And as I said before, if you want to follow me on Instagram, in the description of this video, you will find my Instagram username, and it would be a pleasure to see you face to face. Okay, so thank you very much, and see you soon. Good night.